Welcome everybody to Photomikes Garage, and welcome to another beautiful day in Vancouver, Canada. But is it beautiful? I don't know. I got some black clouds up there, but we got sunshine right there. Anyway, it don't matter because I have a garage. I got my 2001 Viper GTS sitting in this garage. Today I'm going to do something very important. A preventative measure that should all be done on the first and second generation Vipers. And I'm going to tell you about that right now. But first, let's open the hood, which is a great adventure in itself. First of all, there's no inside latch on these cars. It's all outside, like old school. You just go inside the mouth and you pull down on a lever. That pops the hood. Slide the lever over this way and up she goes, but she only goes that far because now you have to lift from behind. This is a gigantic clamshell hood that covers the whole front of the car. To lift it up, it's quite heavy. You got to lift, best if you have two people, but otherwise if you have one person, you lift from as close to the center as possible. Okay, lift her up, up. And we push it up. Bit of a job for this car. It's not easy to pop the hood. You really got to want to do it. Okay, this is the V10, beautiful V10 motor of a Viper. It's just amazing in this day and age to have a V10 like this in a car like this. I still pinch myself to know that I actually own this automotive art. Really. But anyway, it's a dream come true, but today we got some work to do. Okay, here's the problem. You're staring at it right now. That is the power steering pump pulley. Normally not too exciting, but in this case, this one is plastic from the factory. It's plastic, and it develops cracks, and eventually it lets go. And if it does that, that's a disaster because your serpentine belt right here connects to everything else and you're dead in the water. You are a Viper without any motivation at all. So the answer is to replace that with a steel or metal pulley. So when I started looking up on the interweb pages about how to solve this problem, I came upon IPSCO. IPSCO makes a beautiful billet aluminum pulley, nice and shiny, that goes right on there. It's got its own separate mounting system that's different from how this one mounts. And it all comes in a package ready to go on. And that's very expensive. Very expensive. And also for me, that doesn't make sense to have one shiny aluminum pulley when everything else is stock on the car and it's all dark colored or black. So I thought, well, there must be a simpler solution. I just have to replace this with a metal pulley. Why should I pay hundreds of dollars for this, right? So there is a solution. Took me a little while to find it. My first attempt to get a metal pulley, they couldn't get it to me. I had to get a refund. But then I got this. This is an exact fit. It has the same mounting system as the original pulley. 8 ribs, everything except it's metal. So it's going to last forever. And it's going to look exactly stock, which is what I want for this car right now. So this was relatively cheap. I'll put a link down below where you can get this. And the only problem is, like I said, it uses the mounting system on the original pulley, and that uses a strange kind of system. You have to get a special puller that will sort of grip around this ridged edge here and pull it off, and then find a way to put it on. And for that you need this. This I also got relatively cheap. Now it's I think it's made in China, but hopefully I'll be okay. There you go. It's a special puller that is made for this particular type of pulley, and these two things together didn't come close to the price of an IPSCO pulley. Now it doesn't look so nice, it's not billet, but it'll do the job. But first of all, I've got to get the old pulley off, and to do that I need access. So I got to take off my nice air box and my nice smooth tubes here so I can get access to the pulley. Now I intend to take this off and sort of just lever it up to work on it. I don't want to disconnect these these hoses at all. I don't want to make a mess. I want to keep it as simple as possible because I'm a simple man. So let's keep it simple. All right, so you can see I've got the air box off, which is pretty easy on these cars. You've got 1, 2, and 3 bolts, and just unloosen it from the throttle bodies, which I gotta say, they look kind of small for such a big motor, you know. But anyway, air box is off, so now we can see the power steering pump. There's our pulley. There's, I believe, 3 bolts, 1, 2, and 1 underneath, and you can undo them by putting a socket through these holes right here. But in order to move the pulley so you can get access to these bolts, you've got to take the serpentine belt off, and I believe the tensioner is right there, so we'll get the serpentine belt off and then start unloosening these bolts. Okay, you can see the belt's off, and I'm using a wrench and a socket to go through the hole that's on the pulley, and then I can unloosen the bolt just like that. Okay, as you can see, I've got 3 bolts out. They're all exactly the same length. That came out pretty easy, a little hard in the back, but otherwise pretty easy. As you can see, the power steering pump is loose just on the hoses, and supposedly I can get it so that it's up, and I can get the special tool mounted right there, get this pulley off, mount the new one without having to disconnect any of the hoses or anything like that. I don't know if that's true, but that's what we're going to try and do. Okay, so here's all the parts that we're going to use from the kit to pull the pulley off. So what you're going to do, I'll just use the new one as an example. You're going to put clamshell across here, clamshell across here. You're going to put this in the center of the shaft, put this over to hold everything together, and then when you turn that, it's going to pull the pulley off the shaft. Oh, and here's some instructions which are not too helpful. Lots of do not use tools that are not maintained. Account for all tools. Do not use. Okay, so do not use this tool if you are tired or under the influence of alcohol, drugs, or intoxicating medication. Oh no, we're in trouble now. Okay, so around the ridge, we're going to put this little guy right like that. Right like that. And then we'll put this within that little clamshell and in the center of the shaft. Just like that. Then we're going to take the other clamshell and clamp it together like this. I think, yes, like this. And like that. And what's going to hold it all together is the ring. There's the ring. So now the clamshells can't come loose. Now, supposedly, I just tighten this guy down so he's tight against the shaft. There you go, see? Now, if I continue to tighten that down, that will pull. If I continue to tighten this down, that will pull the pulley off the shaft. Let's see if that's going to be what happens. I don't know. We're going to use a 13/16 wrench to hold the pulley in place. Something for us to push against, and then we get this guy on, and then we get our 5/8 socket on, and then we're just going to use brute strength to pull these two together. Man, you gotta come off or what? Come on. I got it. Man, that was hard. Ooh. Yeah, this is a tough one. We almost got it off though. Wow, that was not easy. Let me tell you. Okay, we're off. Wow. Whew. And there, the pulley is off. Man, that was tough. It's the old one. And you can see it is plastic. It's very lightweight. So that's the only downside. This metal one is definitely heavier. Oh yeah, that's heavier. So the only downside I can think of is that, yeah, the plastic one's lighter. So I'm adding weight to my Viper, but oh well. Durability is the key. Out with the old, in with the new. So our new steel pulley is going to go on, and what we're going to do is use this part of the kit. This is going to thread into the snout of the power steering shaft. I'll show you. As you can see, if you look inside, it's a threaded shaft. It's a threaded shaft, right? So we're going to put this right in there. It's going to go right like this. And then you're going to use a 9/16 wrench to tighten this up, and that's going to draw the pulley onto the shaft. At least that's the theory. So let's make that happen. First thing I'm going to do is I'm going to thread this into the shaft as far as it'll go. And I'll start it by hand. I'm gonna go all the way down. Okay, so I've got my pulley putter back on tool on the pulley. So it's threaded into the shaft. And now I've got this bearing pushing down the shaft, and all I gotta do is tighten it down and it will draw it onto the shaft. So let's do that. Put this guy over, and then we draw it onto the shaft, and we draw it down. Just a bit more. Okay, that should be about it, maybe. Let's see if that's correct. It is now flush. Very good. Now, does it turn easily? Yes, it does. There you go. This is on. The new pulley looks fantastic. It's pressed on. So the only thing for me to do is put everything back together again. All right. I've got the serpentine belt on. I think I got it installed correctly. But man, that's awesome to have this pulley. It's awesome to have this pulley done. It's just for peace of mind. I've been meaning to do it for a little while. It took me a while to get this pulley. It's not easy to find a steel one. I'll put a link below. But before I go any further, I'm going to start up the Viper to make sure that the serpentine belt is on correctly. And also because I just like to hear this big, huge V10. Yeah. Okay, let's start this sucker up. Oh yeah! I love that sound. That's so loud. Yep, belt is on correctly. Everything's working good. All right, there you have it. A job done. You don't have to pay anyone else to do this job. You can do it yourself as long as you have that special tool and a little bit of gumption. All right, everybody, thanks for watching Photomikes Garage. I will see you next time.